What's going on, guys? Sitting here hanging out in the shop the last couple of months, really not doing much build videos. Finally cleaned the shop up. Now I've got a pile of garbage. Now either A, I can throw it away, recycle it, make some cash, sell it, etc. Figure something out to do with it. Boredom, I think, finally got me. I decided to use all these parts. It's literally a collection of stuff. It's been sitting around the shop in various forms. After collecting it and realizing I had enough parts, gadgets, and gadgets to actually build something out of it, never know. Build it, see, and just hope I don't go to the ER with it.
This is so far what the parts that I ended up recovering out of a bunch of different stuff. You notice we have the big, massive 420cc Harbor Freight Predator engine. I had custom made some stuff for it. It's got the torque converter set up on it, pull start, electric start. That was a $300 motor, and it's literally probably ran 10 minutes in 3 years. About 3 years I've owned it. It's just literally sat here. It might actually be longer than that. Well, got the power plant. I have the transmission set up, which is the torque converter. That was a pretty penny off eBay. After taking that off the racing mower, what else I ended up having was I ended up keeping the entire axle set up out of it. You might notice down here as part of the original frame, I just literally sawed it, unhooked the brake line, sawed it, and just pulled it out. With that said, the whole bracketry, everything for the axle was recovered. $200 set of brake rotor. I already had the little mounting plate. What else came with it was I had a brand new slot and drilled rotor, little piece. But since I had the other piece already mounted to the axle, and on this one they're really a pain. I think if anybody watched that video on the racing lawnmower, I actually ended up cutting the keyway longer in this axle, so I was able to get everything in between the frames, which is 11 inches from outside to outside diameter. But ended up having another one of these, so we'll just put that in the junk pile or the save pile. Got the master cylinder with the brake foot lever attached. Got some old lines. Got to see about possibly getting some more longer ones. The tires are from last year's kart build where I did the little custom radio flyer wagon for the Turkey Rod Run. Had these on the back, and I have the original ones that were on the front of that radio flyer. Ended up having them. I had the adapters, all of that. The original axle had its adapters, which fit right on these wheels. So basically, that's a whole running gear. Now on the front is a piece that's a couple $100. Well, most people are looking like, what the hell do you mean a couple $100? This was from a buddy of mine, his barstool cart attempt, which was part of an old yard cart. I actually have both front and the rear piece from the cart. My original intentions when I started building this was to actually possibly go ahead and rebuild that cart. But I think after the ER builds, it kind of made me second guess. So what I ended up having was, basically having here was a short chassis kind of build. Let me see if we can pick y'all up here and get y'all a little bit better view of all this. So, short wheelbase. It's a total of 4 foot from back here at the end of the frame to the very front. Steering is going to be 4 foot long. I think I'm going to reuse this little hump piece right here in the center to hold the steering brace. Speaking of steering, what I also have from the old racing go-kart that this axle originally came from, I have the steering wheel and I have the original steering rod. So I got all those parts. Now it's time to actually get down and get dirty. Getting started, what I'm going to do, since I've got very thick wall, heavy duty water pipe is basically what I'm using. Should be very sturdy on the frame because it's only going to be a 4 footer. What I'm going to first start out by doing is, we'll go ahead and lining this up in the chop saw. What we're going to do is go ahead and pull one set of threads off. The reason for that is that I'm going to weld this to my front end of the original cart. Cletus, let me get your help if you don't mind. Get your assistance. Or I'm sorry, Bubba J. Roll it forward. I want to make sure You get a nice clean cut here. Alright, keep it. We're just gonna, basically what I'm gonna do is just lop it off at the first set of threads. I want it to be the rat rod style and the cool bends we're gonna see in towards the rear, which I'm about to show you. Well, how about this? Let me go ahead and lop this off. I'll do both of my pipes. I'm only gonna cut one set of threads off, and we'll be back to welding this up. There it goes. Before I even burn a finger, decided to grab something. She's a steaming. First set of threads off, I'll do the other pipe, and I'll kind of show you what I got going on after this. This might look a little crazy, but this is basically the main frame. I was trying to go center to center 11 inches. I'm actually a hair over, but I can make it work. And what you're looking at down there, that's the rear of the frame. Like I said, going with that rat rod look, very thick, thick wall tubing or pipe. It's got that galvanized look, which would kind of, depending on the paint job, I can actually use that to my advantage. But what I got is 3/4 inch, 4 foot to a 90-degree elbow. Same thing, 3/4. 10-inch piece, which gave me somewhere around the foot to center, but I can make it work. And what I'm gonna have down there is basically the brackets for the right down axle. Is the main? These are the little bearings, and we got the little holders, I'm guessing is what they're called. This is wrong. This anybody that sees this knows that this whole setup just doesn't look right, and that's because it's actually going to get spun around. The gear needs to be on this side, the brake needs to be on this side once everything's ready to be mounted. The wheels are literally just stuck on their studs right now, so all I got to do is just pull them off, and go ahead and take that one off. Yeah, I'm about to say they shouldn't be that tight. The one thing I am going to do is go ahead and order new, brand new little hubs. So I'm trying to keep track of this build to see if I can build it as low cost as possible, maybe even staying under $100. But so far everything else from the axle is usable. There we go, stripped down axle, going very quick. So I guess the next thing would be just to get rid of this old frame that's down here from the old rod and lawnmower. If you'd pull up this end for me, just pick it up. You can see the original frame is right here. Didn't need it, but it was easier just to cut it. What I'm going to do is just trim along right through here. Trim along, salvage this whole piece. Maybe do some grinding of some of the welds. Doesn't need to look pretty, just shiny, so I could weld it back and go ahead and tack it up. And I'll have a rear end put in.